Well, Cupid's arrows are getting sharpened. The chocolate factories are cranking it out. All the flowers are in bloom. It means one thing. It's February. Are you ready? Are you ready to make sure that that special person that you want to make feel special is covered? Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of members of the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce that can take care of that problem for you. Hi, I'm Pete Turok, president of the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce, and this is the February edition of the Chamber Report. Now, not only is it a big love month, it's also one of the busiest months of the entire Chamber year as we are rocking. Major events are going on. We're going to talk about those in a little bit. But I'll tell you what, we've got a great show, full slate on our member profiles. You love that part because you tell me that. And we are going to get updates on numerous members here at the Chamber. And this is a special edition of the Chamber Report because we've got a special segment. We're going to talk about business succession. And I'll tell you what, some fears there, some worries there, some answers there. We're going to have two of our member experts here in a panel discussion to give you an opportunity to hear about that situation and also maybe help you to start to think about it. More importantly, start to make some moves that can help your business. We're going to get into all of that. And of course, the big guy is here. Dave Billahus, chairman of the board of directors, is here. We will get an update on what the Chamber's doing in our member communities, and we'll do all of that coming up right after this.
QCTV is your local leader for high school sports. Tune in to watch your team compete from the start of the season to sections and beyond. Watch us live on Channel 15 and on the web at QCTV.org. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up to date with all of the teams in the North Metro area. See it all here on QCTV.
Cedarburg puts it with the peanut butter in the top shelf.
Back on the Chamber Report, time now to take a peek back at the month of January. Of course, everybody got through the holidays, and then January hits, and we're all just dragging through it. Well, we weren't dragging at the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce because of all the events that are occurring in January. We were rocking, planning all of those, working on all the final details, and those two events are our State of the Cities luncheon. It's the biggest luncheon of the Chamber year as we bring in either the mayor or the city manager at all of our member cities to come and meet. We did that out at the Willie McCoy's in Champlin, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then, of course, the Chamber Gala Dinner. It's the Renaissance Gala Dinner. Our biggest event of the year, 400 people, tons of planning that goes along with that, tons of sponsorships, ticket selling, and prize gathering, and then just the details of putting on an event that big. So all of that was happening in the month of January as we get ready to rock this month in February, and we will get all of that done. Our benefit of the month this month is community, and we're going to talk about that with Chairman Dave Billahus from the board. Community is very important to the Chamber, and it's a hidden benefit in the sense that, you know, maybe one of our members would like to be on this show, and one of the benefits is to have a segment here on this show, or maybe a write-up in the member news column on the Chamber newsletter, or maybe getting our email blast list. Well, community is a benefit of membership. It's just not something that the individual business might feel, but in an overall sense, they will feel. Community is very important to this Chamber of Commerce as we get involved with what is going on there. And many times we're the first contact when someone is thinking about moving into one of our 9 member cities. It's very important for us to handle that correctly, to make sure that we get them because we want them. We're going to get into this deeper in just a second, but it is a very important benefit. In fact, we hear it from our members because it's one of the big reasons why they join the Chamber of Commerce. We are going to do that and get into that next with Chairman Dave Billahus, Chair of the Board of Directors, and we'll do that right after this. Back on the Chamber Report, time now for our monthly visit with the Chairman of the Board of Directors. No, not Frank Sinatra. Dave Billahus is here. Dave has a company called Twin City Homeworks and has been a longtime member of the Chamber and a longtime member of the board. This is his 3rd year on the board, and he now has the big seat. Dave, welcome back to the show. Happy New Year.
You too, Pete. Thanks for letting me be here again.
I'll tell you what, it is February, rockin' month. We've got a couple of major events that are coming. We're going to talk about them more because we'll talk about them next month because it's kind of hard to talk about something that hasn't happened yet, depending on when you're watching the show, though. First, our State of the Cities. We're going over to Willie McCoy's in Champlin. You helped us set that up. In fact, I just got done with a meeting over there, meeting with Zach, the general manager, and we got the layout set, and I know QCTV is going to be there as well because it is a great luncheon. If you want to find out what, you love this line, has, is, and will be happening in our 9 cities Our membership is going to find that out in one luncheon. And you've had a chance to be at Willie McCoy's a few times. You set this thing up almost a year ago, and we're going over there. And I'll tell you what, City of Champlin is pumped.
Well, you and I are City of Champlin residents.
That's right.
We're happy that people are coming over to visit Willie McCoy's and hear everything about all our member communities. And this will be a very exciting time, a good kickoff for February going into the rest of the year.
No doubt. And if you're watching, again, this is going to be February 9th. If you're a member, still want to come, get a hold of the chamber. If you're watching after, then tune in to next month's show, and we will have a recap of that. And I know we'll have some clips from that event. But I'll tell you what, and I know QCTV will be playing this thing back big time as well, because it really is a great community piece for you to find out not what's just happening in your backyard, but what's happening with the neighbors and, to be honest, across the river and everything else. It's just going to be a cool thing. So talking about community, it's kind of a perfect time with our State of the Cities, but community, Dave, has always been important to us. We know the importance, and our members think it's important, and so do the board of directors.
Yeah, that's our main focus. We want everybody to understand exactly what each community can offer. New people that are moving in, whether bringing your families in, whether bringing your businesses in, and all the things that go along with this great area that we call home.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, business does call. And the public does call. And I don't know how much they really understand what a Chamber of Commerce is. I think maybe the mentality is we're the good housekeeping seal of approval. I will take that, because I want that call first. And we get that call. And I'm telling you, Tammy Flagger, my administrative assistant, she is on that phone, and I can hear it all the time. And she is talking to people, and they're asking about school districts, and they're asking about housing areas, and they're asking about, development opportunities. And it happens in the office all the time. We love representing our member communities and being that first voice. Now, trust me, we're pushing them right over to the City Hall in Champlin or to the City Hall in St. Francis when people have specific questions. But we many times are that first piece. That's why the Chamber magazine I showed you last month, we produce. That's an idea of a piece for that new resident. We produce a map, even though people don't use maps. Trust me, they do. We go through about 300 a month. We've got that. We want to be that informational resource place for all of those things to happen. And Dave, we get involved in our member communities with some events. We help with promotion. These are all important things.
Yeah, we do the parades. I see you working with your lovely wife, staging parades. We have the opportunity to meet new people all the time, converse with people and business opportunities. I'm moving your family in here, and of course our business people like that, because if we have a vibrant community, people are moving into our areas. That allows more business opportunities for our membership.
And that's it. The whole thing is right there. The better the community, the better the businesses are going to be. Dave understands that. Our board of directors understand that. And so we push it. And, I've been at the Chamber a long time, and this isn't a Pete thing. This has been the business voice saying we need to participate, we need to promote and pump our member communities, and we do it. Dave's out there waving at those parades. It's important that we have a visibility out there. And be a player, and we are a player when it comes to our communities. A lot of times it's quiet. It's Brenda and I working a parade with another batch of volunteers. Nobody knows that we're doing that, and we're not looking for the pub. We're looking to help because there was a need for that. We were out at the Happy Days in Ramsey helping out set up their business expo. We were helping coordinate the Grey Ghost Run for the Anoka Halloween Festival. I mean, these are all behind the scenes things. We're not looking for the praise, we're looking to help. And so we do help. And it's important to us. Community is important. It is a major benefit. It's just not one that maybe specifically puts somebody that needs a roof job, which, by the way, he could do. But he understands the long-term positivity of what comes from strong communities. And so we will always continue to push that. And we deal with that with transportation issues. I mean, we were involved with that overpass in Ramsey. We knew how important that was. Better access for roads and trains and buses, all those things make for a better community, make people want to move here. And Dave, the more people that move here, more people that maybe Twin City Homeworks could get business from, or some of our other almost 600 members.
Exactly. Our population, our demographics, the new water park in Champlin. I've seen a ton of people who I've met bringing their little kids there, and then they'll tell other people that we have these type of attractions and amenities in our communities, and all 9 of them. And it just couldn't work out better for both the residents and, of course, for our membership.
No, I'm not going to tell you we always get along with the member cities in the sense that we may have a difference of opinion as a business community about a specific topic. Hey, that's part of family, you know? I mean, have you always gotten along with your brothers? I had 2 of them, and enough said. That's just the way it goes. But I think that our member cities appreciate us and what we do and how we promote them. I know we certainly love what they do, but we still have a business opinion. We are not funded by any of our member cities in the sense that they're giving us large amounts of money. They don't do that. They're just a regular member. Our job is to do what we're doing, and we do that, and we will continue to do that, and it's something that's important to Dave and the board of directors, and this is just something that I think it's important for you to know. We actually formed a committee about 3 years ago because the board of directors, we had a good conversation about this. They all knew that we were involved in community. We just never tell anybody about it. And they formed that committee, and they made it one of our benefits that's in print because we felt that it was important. And we will go out from time to time and tell our members, hey, look, we're involved with our member communities. We're involved with many of their nonprofit groups, whether it be Kiwanians or other events, those committees. It's important that our members know. I think it's important that you know. So there you go. Community is important to us. And Dave, in the most recent member survey we had, I think community was number 1, networking was number 2, why people join.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. Again, it goes back to what you were talking about, Pete, and that is that if we are committed to our membership and our membership's committed to the communities that we work and live in, it's a great cohesiveness, and it makes everybody and everything go smoothly.
It surely does. A couple other quick things. Our membership committee, a new committee that we formed within the last year, board had a chance to see a postcard that is coming to businesses in Anoka and Andover as the push begins, as we try to get those numbers up. I know one of the goals that you have personally and the board does as well.
Yep, exactly. We need to grow our membership. There's way too many great opportunities and benefits not to be a member of this great chamber, and so that's what we're doing, and I think we're doing it the right way, Pete. We're doing it with a couple cities, get that launched, and then, of course, that momentum that will carry on to the rest of it. And again, that's our number 1 commitment this year, and we're going to knock that thing out of the park.
We are, and we're just starting. So postcards are coming. If you're in Anoka or if you're in Andover, and hey, we got a special deal for you, and we do, and we'll talk about that. It's simple. Your call to action is to give me a call and say, Pete, come on out. You don't have to join. I'll probably get you, but you don't have to join. I just want to tell you about all the benefits of membership. So we've put together this committee. We're going to pound it out with a postcard mailing first with some follow-up phone calls. And what we're hoping for is a sit-down. I'll make the pitch, let you know what this place does and how it can help your business, how it can help your community, and hopefully you'll join. If not, hey, no big deal. But there is a special incentive package for you to do that, and we will talk about that, and we will follow that progress, and we'll report back here. And then, of course, Dave, the Chamber Gala dinner, you've been out pounding, just got us a table last night. That a boy. We're looking for donations. The committee is rocking on that. We're going to have a big night coming up on the 19th of February out of the courtyards of Andover.
Yeah, I'm a golfing fanatic, as you know, but I look forward more to the gala, even to our golf tournament. It's our number 1 opportunity to meet, network, have a great time, have a great meal, enjoy a beverage or two, bid on some really cool things. Most importantly, support this great chamber, and maybe even just win something really cool as a prize.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the cool part is you buy a ticket, you're guaranteed to win either some cash prizes or the non-winning ticket prize, and it's a really nice package this year. So it's going to be a great night. To all of you that have bought tickets, donated, thank you. And for those that haven't yet, I'll take stuff. I will. We'll put it on raffles. We'll put it in silent auction. We'll do it on live auction. It's going to be a night of fun and fundraising. Helps the scholarship program of the Chamber, helps a networking component to the Chamber, helps the Chamber, our biggest event of the year. 400 is the goal, and we're going to get there and looking for a great night. We'll talk about this more next month.
You're right, Pete. Yep. Next month, we'll have great news, and I'm looking forward to announcing all the good stuff that happened in February.
No doubt. He's out there selling memberships for us. He's out there selling packages for the gala. He's doing what a chairperson is supposed to do. Here's the crazy part. He doesn't get paid for any of that. Let's quickly tell them Twin City Homeworks is your company. What is it?
Well, we're a general contractor, and most of what we do is storm damage, restoration, fire, water. We do big jobs, we do small jobs, but what we really like to do is help people, Pete, get their lives back together, put their house back together so they can go on living the lives in our great communities that we work and live in.
And I'll tell you, nothing more traumatic than dealing with a storm and dealing with destruction to what is very near and dear to everybody's heart, and that's their home. Twin City Homeworks can handle any of those things for. If you want to learn more about that company, you can go to the Chamber website and find it. In fact, all of our members, just go on the homepage up on top to members, click it, and you will find Twin City Homeworks and all the other members of the Chamber of Commerce. Hey, he did my roof, and he can do yours too, because the man needs to get paid. He just does. But he gives us that time, and that is huge. Dave, next week or next month, we'll come back and we'll recap a crazy month of Feb.
Look forward to it.
All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, you like this part. It's member profiles, and we'll do it right after this.
Hello, I'm James Stuart, Sheriff of Anoka County, and I'd like to invite you to watch The Sheriff Show on QCTV. On the show, we feature various divisions within our office, including Patrol, Canine, SWAT, community events, the dive teams, and much more. So tune into The Sheriff Show on your local channel 15 and 16 and keep up to date on what's happening at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office.
Back on the Chamber Report time now for our member profile segment. This is a chance for you to get to find out more about the almost 600 rock star members of the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce, and we've got one with us. You've met her before. Julie Keys is here with Keys Strategy. She is a current member of the Board of Directors, and she is also one of our players when it comes to the Chamber's continuing education series. Julie, welcome back.
Thank you, Pete.
We're going to talk about an event coming up in March, on March 4th, with the education series, but I want to talk about this special segment because you're a part of that. It's a special segment that we're doing on this show, and it is about business succession planning, and you are going to be there along with Barb Zuleger from Performance Partners.
Correct.
Give them a little tease about what it is that segment's going to deal with.
Well, we're just going to be asking some questions about what it is that a business owner really needs to know when it comes to having that conversation. All right, I know that at some point I'm going to have to exit my business. What do I have to do to get ready? And so we're going to talk about those, answer those questions as much as we can in a short period of time. But just to maybe clarify a little bit about where they might think they might don't know what they don't know area or know that they don't know, and clarify as much as we can through that conversation.
And Barb, you know this better than anybody. You know, business people don't have a lot of time. They don't think about these things. They're just trying to get through this month and next month and trying to plan 6 months down the road, maybe a year out, but they don't. They've got so many balls juggling up in the air, and this one's a bowling ball.
It's a really big bowling ball, and there are some really staggering statistics around what's coming. I mean, there's really a tsunami of businesses that are going to be transitioning over the next 10 years, and I'll be talking about that in the education series component as well. But suffice it to say, we definitely have to address that issue because it will affect the economy in a big way, and more importantly, it's going to affect the lives of the business owner
and the employees that go with it. So the bottom line is, stay tuned. We have this special segment coming up right after member profiles, so stay tuned. All right, let's reel it back. March 4th, we have another in our continuing education series for members at the Anoka Area Chamber. In fact, we had one this morning, and it was Social Media 101 and 102. Busy Web put that on for us. Julie, you've been a part of this. We also have Performance Partners that is doing some, and we now have Action Coach Metro North that's doing some. Let's talk about the topic coming up on March 4th. This will be held, by the way, at the Chamber office, 11:30 to 1. There'll be a light lunch served, but more importantly, let's talk topic.
Okay. Well, the title for this particular segment is called Business Owner Transition, Are You Prepared? And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on education with the short period of time that we have, just to help the business owner have an idea of what it is that they need to do to get ready. And it doesn't matter what stage you're in your business. Planning with the end in mind is always a smart approach, because if you're only in your business for 3 or 4 years today and you plan to be in it for another 15 or 20, the decisions that you make today are going to affect your exit in the future. And so it's important to plan that out, like we talked about earlier, and making sure that we do have some kind of plan. But what do we plan? How do we prepare? That particular segment on the education series is going to talk about risk mitigation. It's going to talk about assessing the health of your business currently. What do we have to do to enhance the value of the business so that when the time comes for us to transition, whether it's an external sale or an internal sale, we'll be prepared and we'll have created some options for ourselves.
Great, that's coming up March 4th. It'll run from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. It'll be at the offices in our meeting room at 12 Bridge Square, downtown Anoka, just a half block off East Main Street on First Avenue South. We invite you to attend. It's $15. It's $15 for chamber members. $25 if you're not yet a chamber member. $25. Are you kidding me? We push this on Julie and the others that we want these things cheaper if possible, and they've all stepped up and said, heck yeah, let's get the word out to these folks. So it's $15. So call the chamber office, 763-421-7130. You can go to the chamber website and get information on it as well. We do have limited space in there, but we would love to have you come, and Julie, looking forward to that on March 4th, and looking forward to you a little bit later in the show.
Sounds good. Thanks, Pete.
We're going to talk about that bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
Does your back hurt? Does it? I mean, because mine's hurt since like the 1st of January when I put all those Christmas decorations away. We got some that go outside up in the rafters, down underneath the stairwell, and it kind of hurts. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's time to go somewhere and get something done. Well, we have somebody that can help me. We're going to talk about that. Dr. Eric Ortman is here, Wellspring Spinal Care. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pete. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 51 years old. I'm from Emmitsburg, Iowa, in the northwest corner of Iowa, and I grew up there. Got out of high school and ended up going in the Air Force and spent 4.5 years in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a Persian Gulf vet, and got out of the Air Force and went back to Iowa State and went into law enforcement after I graduated with my 4-year degree, and decided that I didn't want to be a cop anymore. And after 11 years of law enforcement service, I went to chiropractic school at Northwestern in Bloomington.
Wow. Yeah. So what pulled you to chiropractic?
You know, in my career, I saw a lot of people that hurt. And it just baffled me how they continued to live lives that in pain. And I just decided that I wanted to do that. I did have an incident back when I was in college where I got hurt in my low back. I was doing a powerlifting meet as a weightlifter, and I ended up damaging my low back. And that was part of why I got into it. The other part was when I was in school, or actually after I got into school, it kind of reaffirmed what I needed to know, and I had some neck injuries that through my career in law enforcement and wrestling as from first grade till senior in high school, and I had some neck issues that kind of made my condition worse. So that was really what drew me into wanting to be a chiropractor.
Great. So I lead, hurt in the back, putting Christmas decorations away. He's doing his powerlifting. So, okay, Doc, but I'll tell you what, that really tells you about the issues that people can have. It can be something as severe as a major weightlifting scenario, or it can be as easy as taking one of those rubber plastic boxes, and I think the one that got me was putting it under the stairways. And I'm still in pain, and you deal with that. Tell me a little bit about chiropractic care.
Yeah, chiropractic kind of came on the radar in the late 1800s. Dr. B.J. Palmer and his father, D.D. Palmer, actually started chiropractic, how we know it today. And but chiropractic really has its history, its roots, all the way back to Hippocrates. We saw Hippocrates 5,000 years ago was doing the same things that we do on tables that look much like what we use today. And it was just kind of fascinating. It kind of came out of the late 1800s and grew into what it is today. Chiropractors initially were jailed many times in the early 1900s for doing what they were doing, believing what they believed in. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about, there's lots of different types of chiropractic techniques. Talk about what you use.
Yeah, I do. In my practice, I do what's typically called the diversified chiropractic approach. I adjust manually, and that means if you come in and see me, I'm going to adjust you with my hands. You'll many times hear that pop, what we always hear, the chiropractor, you hear the pop. That's not necessarily the adjustment, but that goes along with the adjustment. I do some adjunct therapies. I do some modalities such as hot packs. I do activator, and then I do a special kind of chiropractic. It's an upper cervical, so we only approach the upper cervical. So many times people have had trauma, car wrecks, wrestling, you name it, anything you know, the person that, like you mentioned, you bent over to pick something up and my back went out. Well, there's got to be something deeper there that really is creating that problem. And so those are the types of techniques that I use, and I get wonderful results. I have a lot of patients that have had migraines for years. I adjust them once, and the migraines are gone.
Seriously?
Yes, absolutely.
Had one yesterday. Get them in clusters. Don't happen all the time. Seriously.
Yeah.
All right, Doc. So when I want to make an appointment, let's talk about where you located, your hours, phone number, all that stuff. For somebody out there who's got some pain, I did not know about the migraine end of this. That is important. Anyway, if they're interested, how do they find out more?
Very simple. Just give me a call at 952-303-9124, or check us out on the web at www.drortman.com. That's DRORTMAN.com. Real simple. Just give me a call and I'll walk you right through it.
Excellent. Where are you located?
We're located at 540 Greenhaven, and just south of the Greenhaven Golf Course. There's an apartment complex. We're in the north end of that complex.
Yeah.
Looks like it's a business.
It's right by the Anoka Perkins. You cannot miss it. It's a business complex that's been there forever. Migraines. Let me tell you something. And if you're a migraine sufferer, and some are worse than others, in fact, I was talking to Julie Keys this week, and boom, I popped another one. And they can be very devastating, and you can help.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is I'm so cheap that you can't afford to not get help. Don't live with pain.
Now you got me going. All right, Doc, tell them that phone number again.
952-303-9124.
He is Dr. Eric Ortman. It is Wellspring Spinal Care. Hey, if you're in pain, let the man help you out. It is time to wrap up this edition of our member profiles, and what better way to do it? It's our update, and I've been looking for one of these for a little bit, from our guys from the National Sports Center. Barclay Kruse is here, along with John Connelly. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Pete.
Look at these snappy outfits that we were just talking about. This is what they get to wear to work every day. Life is pretty good, and honestly, life has got to be pretty darn good out at the National Sports Center. So many things are going on. John, you and I just had talked, and you had said there's always something going on, and we're going to talk about some of those things. But you guys are rocking, and you've got major things happening, major things down the road, major things right now, major things this summer, and we're going to try to touch on them as much as we can. Barclay, I'm going to lead with you. Let's talk about the governor's bonding bill and $5 million in there. What's it about?
We have $5 million, a little bit over $5 million in the governor's bonding bill to finish our field expansion project. If people are familiar with the campus, this is an area, 80 acres of land that we own north of 105th, between 105th and 109th, where we're going to build 20 more multi-use fields. And this $5 million will allow us to finish those fields and also build a new maintenance facility. Why is it important? It's important because this is shovel-ready, and we can put teams on those fields year after next.
You're kidding me.
And that's
I had no idea it was that fast.
That's economic impact. We're going to have 8 of them ready this summer. It's economic impact right away. And the governor and the legislature, when they invest in projects, they like projects that can turn around quick.
Sure.
And this one for sure will.
Right.
Well, and I'll tell you what, and John, you and I have the pleasure of being a part of the Twin Cities Gateway Convention and Visitors Bureau, and so we have chances to meet with some of the hotelers and city officials in our region, and boy, they are impacted big time by the National Sports Center and events that are held there.
Absolutely, not just during the summertime when we're a soccer campus primarily, but throughout the year, 360 days a year. One of our biggest tournaments for out-of-town teams was last weekend. We had 80 teams from out of town, and it was just fantastic. Great economic impact from a tourism perspective, and really generates a lot of revenue for our local businesses.
You bet. And not just in Blaine. I mean, the campus is in Blaine, but the reaching ripples that come as these events occur, I'm telling you, people are looking for rooms. People are looking for places to eat. People need gas. People need My God, I didn't bring enough socks. I mean, it's all an impact to the region, and that's why this is a wonderful facility. And am I not wrong that if you were to be in a satellite going all over the world, looking down, there is no bigger soccer field complex in the world than is in Blaine, Minnesota. Is that correct?
That's right. We're the biggest in the world.
World, people. We'll take world every time. All right, a lot of talk about the MLS and the NASL. I'm talking about the Major Soccer League and the North American Soccer League, and about Minnesota United. They have been at home at the National Sports Center for many seasons. Give us an update, guys, on where we're at with what's happening there.
Well, Minnesota United is a big deal, and we're spending a lot of time working with them right now. For people who are soccer fans, here's a brief history. They have been playing in the North American Soccer League, which is a Tier 2 league, kind of like AAA baseball. Last spring, they were granted a Major League Soccer franchise. So they're moving up to the big leagues in either 2017 or 2018. So they'll play one more season in our stadium as a North American Soccer League team this season coming up, 2016, and then go to MLS in either 17 or 18. They may play either at our stadium or Target Field or TCF Bank Stadium before they move into their brand new stadium in St. Paul. They're still going to be around the National Sports Center, though, because we are actively talking with them, putting the pieces in place to secure them as a long-term tenant, to make their home at the National Sports Center, to train. The team will live there 6 days a week. They're going to be gone 1 day a week to play their games. The rest of the time, the players will all be there training. We're going to have some dedicated practice fields for them. It's the best possible situation for both parties.
You know, it's similar to the Vikings, currently in Eden Prairie. That's where they practice, and then boom, they go play their game. Now, potentially Egan, should all that fall into place. But the bottom line is that they don't play and practice at TCF Bank Stadium, nor will they at the new stadium. They practice at their facility, their home court, and that's what you guys are trying to keep. That would be cool if we could do that. All right, we're going to move from soccer to hockey. USA's women's national team held their training camp at National Sports Center.
That's right.
That's cool.
But not only that, in another 2 months, not even that, about another 6 weeks, we are going to host the women's national tournament here at the Schwad Super Rink, and that will bring teams from all over the country competing here on a national tournament.
See, worldwide, nationwide, all right here in Blaine. We love it. USA Cup, everybody knows about USA Cup, and if you don't, I know you got kids, you've had to bring them over there. Imagine if you were like overseas and had to bring them over, which they get. But we have the luxury of being able to have that USA Cup, this huge, massive event right here in our backyard, and I know a ton of work goes into this, and I can't remember the total number of teams, but you guys got to probably started planning as soon as the last one ended, but it's got to be kicking in high gear now.
Yeah, we go more than a year out.
I bet you do.
And the number of teams, Pete, 1,153, the biggest ever last year. And those teams don't just come to us by accident. So we've had marketing people in the last few months in Brazil, Spain, Portugal, and we had a big presence at the National Soccer Coaches Convention just last week in Baltimore. It takes year-round marketing to get those teams here. And that's another reason it's important for us to get more fields, so we can have more fields and higher quality fields. That's what teams want.
1,153 teams.
It keeps going bigger.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. All right, a winter golf training facility is opened.
That's correct.
Talk to me about it.
It's a little unusual. Our golf guys call it their golf dojo. And they're using they're ripping off a term from martial arts.
Sure.
So what they're trying to do is, the point they're trying to make is great. They say most sports understand now that the great advances in technique and skill come in the off season. And golf has not really gotten on board with that. But he said, this is when you need to learn. This is when you need to improve. So they've broken down the golf swing, and they have all these component exercises to help people understand how to swing the club and do it the right way. So they've got a ping pong table there. They've got medicine balls. They will have you spending half of your time not holding a golf club. They've got toy trains. There is an analogy to a toy train and how your body moves in a golf swing. In other words, you pull, you don't push. There's more to it than that, but that's, and so it's pretty unusual, but it's going to be really great because for a lot of people who learn differently, this is going to be perhaps the answer to their golf swing problems.
Now I know what's wrong with my golf swing is I just don't have toy trains anymore because the kids have gotten too old and the grandkids aren't coming enough. You know, it all makes sense though. You know, it's so hard to change a swing. I mean, I've been doing it for many, many years. It ain't pretty. And to try to change it, in fact, I actually asked Larry Norland, golf pro at Greenhaven Golf Course, and I said, Larry, you know, would it help if I took some lessons from you? And he said, you know, I mean, I'd be happy to do it, but you are trained. I have trained myself to swing the way I do. Not pretty. And so I can understand that doing something in the off season and trying to change your mentality, and because it's all about feel. And so these things are going to help me try to adjust that swing, which cannot go anywhere but up. Very cool. So this is brand new.
Yeah, it's the first time we've done winter training. And the golf pros, Tom and Jason at our course, the point they make, Pete, is that the reason winter is such a good time to do it is that you can do it indoors where you can control the variables. You're not worried about the wind, you're not worried about the slope, you're not worried about the big lake right out in front of you. You can just concentrate on the one little skill that you're trying to master.
And I will tell you this, you know, and I've had a buddy of mine tell me, oh, you know, try this in your swing. To try to take that to the course and play around and make a change is virtually impossible. If you're going to make that change, it has to happen at a different time, and it could be there. That is cool. All right, upcoming events. John, talk to me. What's coming up?
A couple of big things. I mentioned the tournament coming up for USA Hockey, but also we have over the holiday, President's Weekend, we have not only a soccer tournament, but the Rush tournament at the Schwann Super Ring. It's a one-day tournament. So soccer and hockey. But getting back to golf really quick, I would like to go on the air and say, hey, we'd like to help your gala out. We're going to donate a couple of golf passes to Victory Links right to the Anoka Area Chamber Gala. So let's go on record with that. And also, when they come out next spring, we're going to have brand new golf cars for them.
Oh, nice.
So we're just signing a deal with Club
Hey,
Car.
we appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm bidding. All right. So if somebody wants to learn more about anything that you guys have talked about, how do they get more information?
Website is the best place to go. We have so many things going on. The website covers everything. nscsports.org. There's media information on there too. There's news releases, there's history of the facility, and all of our programs are there.
I'll tell you what, government got involved, and I would think that everybody that has touched this, when they look back and look at what we've got going now, has got to say, you know what, job well done, people, because it is rocking. Mm-hmm. Any last things you guys want to talk about before we go?
4 million visitors a year.
Yeah.
Keep saying that.
There's always something going on.
Largest concentration of soccer fields in the world, right there at the National Sports Center, Barclay. John, come back again. We always love getting updates on what you guys got going.
We enjoy it.
That's great. We're taking a break. When we come back, it's that special segment. It's a special edition of the Chamber Report as we talk about something very critical. If you are a business owner, we'll do that right after this. Back on the Chamber Report, time now for a special segment that we have been telling you about leading up to it, and it is a critical segment. If you are a business owner, stay tuned. Do not flip that channel because you need to hear about what we're going to talk about, and it's about business succession and the plan. Do you have a plan? Well, we're going to let you in on all of this and talk about it in depth as we're going to take a nice chunk segment here of the Chamber Report to talk about this. And with us, we've got a panel today, and we have Julie Keys. Julie is with Keys Strategies. She was already on the show talking about our Chamber Education Series. And also with us is Barb Zuleger. You know Barb, she's been on before, past chair of the Board of Directors, and also with Performance Partners, and more importantly, she also does some segments. In fact, I think you're going to be on next month's show as we talk about an event that we have coming up. But let's talk about business succession planning. Julie, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
You know, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but this is a big deal. Statistics out there are staggering when you hear about the number of businesses in need of a transition or sale in the next 10 years. Can you share with me some of the most recent data that you have on this subject?
Absolutely. Much of the data that I have acquired recently has come from an institution called the Exit Planning Institute. They're an organization that provides continuing education for professional advisors, whether it be financial advisor, CPA, attorney. I recently went through a course there and got certified as an exit planning advisor, and what I learned when I went through this coursework was astonishing. I mean, scary. So let's just start with one thing. Over the next 10 years, we are going to be seeing the largest transfer of publicly held wealth, stock, if you will, that this country has ever experienced, and it's about $10 trillion. Okay, so $10 trillion worth of privately held stock will be transferring to someone, whether it's an outside sale, an internal transfer, or something like that. And you know, unfortunately, those business owners that own that stock think that their business is worth a certain amount of money. That's their nest egg. That's where they've put their money. They don't usually work so much with financial advisors, although they should. And so at the end of the day, when all of these businesses become on the market over the next 10 years, there's going to be a plethora of businesses for sale, right, or ready to transfer. And so it's going to be a buyer's market. And we know that that buyer's market is coming. They're calling it a tsunami of businesses that are going to be available for sale. And so what Barb and I are trying to do now is to help owners prepare now so that when the time comes, they have options. And another sad statistic out of this institute, it was a survey that they did recently called the State of Owner Readiness Survey. They're actually conducting another one now, but this one was done 2 years ago. And the business owners that they surveyed, there were 400 and some business owners all across the country in all different industries. The ones who had sold, 3 out of the 4 business owners profoundly regretted the decision.
Wow.
Profoundly regretted, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right, so let's say you're a business owner out there, you're in your 50s. I'm guessing that now would be a good time to start preparing for the eventual exit, but Julie, where does a person even start that process? It's got to be overwhelming.
I think that that's why a lot of business owners don't start. You know, entrepreneurs by nature are very optimistic people. And so they don't always think about what the future might hold for them because they're going to live forever, right? So we don't have to worry about that. We'll take care of it tomorrow. You know, they're busy with their business. They're making plans. They're working in it. They've got all these day-to-day decisions that they have to make. And so sometimes the future plan gets put on hold. So I say that beginning with the end in mind, no matter what stage you're in your business, it would be important for you to just get educated. I think that that's, as far as me and the way that I operate with my business, and I'm sure that Barb does too, it's all about the education. You know, the revenue that we could create out of acquiring a new client is secondary. It's got to be the education, because an educated client is a good client. And they will make good, sound decisions that will affect them for the rest of their life. And so when I talk about education, what does that look like? It means assembling a really good team of advisors. And a team of advisors would consist of people like Barb and I, a business consultant, who could help kind of quarterback the conversation, introduce you to a really good financial advisor who understands business if you don't have one. Also get someone involved from a legal standpoint if they don't have a good business attorney. Talk about estate planning, insurance, get their accountant involved. You know, that doesn't all have to happen all at once, okay? But that's something that you'd want to have happen over time. And those trusted advisors, when they work as a team, not as silos, but as a team, can really, really make an impact on what that business owner is able to get at the end of the day when they're ready to sell.
Talk talk to me about life after business. I bet that scares some people out there. And you think that there are business owners that absolutely deter making those decisions because they don't want to think about life after business?
Well, I think a lot of times they just can't imagine what their life would be like without it.
Yeah.
What's relevant for me? How am I going to be relevant? If I'm not in my business anymore, I have to do something that's productive, that gives meaning to my life. And so part of that whole conversation around succession planning is to actually decide, okay, let's do a needs, wants analysis. What do you really want out of life? What do you need? Do you have enough money to retire? If you don't, let's work on some value enhancement in your business so that you, at the end of the day, you got some options and you can have a great life and be significant.
Right. All right, Barb Zuleger, when should business people start thinking about it?
Yesterday.
I bet.
It really, and I definitely agree, if you're in your 50s and you've been in business, you have an established business, however long that has been, it's definitely time to be talking with someone. However, it's really important, and Julie used the same statement, to begin with the end in mind. There's two different types of businesses you can build in very general terms. There's an asset-based business and there's a lifestyle-based business. Most people have lifestyle-based businesses and think they have asset-based businesses. Okay. And the difference is, with an asset-based business, you have something to sell. You have something, either it's in collateral or it's in equipment or it's in inventory, and at the very least you have systems and processes in place that someone else can take over and run. Mm-hmm. A lifestyle-based business would be somebody who, when I choose to be done working, this business is done. And that is true for most of the small businesses in our country, and very few business owners are aware of that because they've put every dollar, their heart and soul, every minute into their business. So to them it has huge value. And getting that information as early as possible and defining where you want to go is going to make it much easier to end up there in the end.
Now, statistics say that 80%, and this number just blew me away, 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And that absolutely blows me away. What does a business person have to do to get their business to the point where down the road it can be in a transitional situation?
Number one is having a strong plan. And that can be everything from what am I going to do when I wake up tomorrow morning to where am I going to be 5 years from now, and every step in between. It can't be just the great big plan way out there, and it cannot be just my to-do list from today. Mm-hmm. It has to be a balance of all of that so that you have, a long-term. One of the terms that I use often are urgency and patience. You have to have some urgency to get done what has to get done today, and be patient and allow your business to grow in the long term. What happens with that 5-year mark, what I've experienced in the 8 years I've been coaching, is business owners get exhausted by the time they get to that point. They're running a marathon. They haven't celebrated their successes along the way. They don't know where they're going after that 5 years because they're not where they thought they'd be at 5 years. And they're too tired, probably out of resources. Maybe have a spouse that's out of patience.
Totally.
Things change in their family, whatever, and they need to go back to doing something else. And I don't know the statistics of this. I can make one up if you'd like. But the reality is, most of these entrepreneurs, if that business fails, they will find another business to start within 3 to 5 years again.
Yeah, I believe that.
And if they haven't improved their business acumen, what it takes to run an effective business, they're going to fall into the same spot.
History will repeat itself.
Yes.
I got to believe another huge question is this is their baby. So who would you transition this business to? That's got to be a big question for them. And also, can they handle it? And the worries. I remember my brother had this beautiful cedar stained deck, and he sold the house, drove by a couple years later, and it was painted white, and he was so disgusted that all this hard work that he put into this beautiful cedar was covered in white paint.
Yes.
I got to believe with business people, man, that's in there. And are they going to take care of my baby? And is my baby going to grow with these people? All of that has to enter into their heads.
This might be a shock, but business owners are kind of control freaks.
Gotta be.
They have to be.
They do.
And that's how they get to where they are, because they are in control of what happens as they grow their business. Unfortunately, that does make it difficult to transition. And a lot of people think, well, my children are going to want this. Or, my partner is going to want to buy this, or somebody else is going to want to actually exchange money for what I have built. And the reality is, if the business owner hasn't let go enough to allow somebody else to do those processes and learn those strategies, the success of that transition is not going to happen. I mean, it's going to be a big challenge. The other thing is the business owner has to be prepared to let go of their dreams for the future of that business and allow the new business owner to build their own business and their own dreams. I have worked with, frequently worked with multi-generational owners, and mom's ready to retire and daughter's just starting her family. They have very different needs out of their business, and we need to come to an alignment with those partners early in the process so that the business usually can provide for both, but not if they're not talking about it.
All right, you guys are both business coaches. You're out there in the business community talking with owners. What are you getting a feel and a sense about transition in the minds of those people? Are they thinking about it, Julie?
They are, and to your point earlier, as far as being afraid, I think that fear is a great motivator, unfortunately. And I think that the fact that it's becoming more and more prevalent in the business community and in the news that we've got all these baby boomer business owners that are coming up, I think that people are starting to realize, I really do need to get educated. I really do need to start asking more questions. I need to do something about my business. It is good.
It's one of the reasons why we're doing this.
Exactly. It's really good. But when you've got the family business component on top of it, which it happens a lot, right? There's a lot of family business. Barb talked about that. That just adds another kind of issue.
Layer.
It's an issue.
That's a tough layer.
It really is.
So, Barb, are you hearing it out there?
I'm really not hearing, I'm hearing a lot of business owners who think they're getting ready for retirement. I think they're missing the door that's going to get them to retirement, which is either preparing to close their business or how do I, transfer it to someone else, whether it's by sale or just by, okay, the next generation will come run it either way. I don't think they're paying, a lot of businesses are paying attention to that. When we do think about what we're hearing in the media, we hear a lot of, you need your 401k. Well, how many small business owners, nobody has one that somebody else is helping them put money into, right?
Exactly.
We may be putting in our own thing. Hopefully we're doing something to invest the resources we're bringing into our businesses. But there's not that same discussion in the media in general, in the general media about what's happening when you look at 80% of new jobs come from small business.
Exactly.
And if these small businesses start falling off, and there'll be new ones coming in.
You bet.
But if it's your business,
Still.
do you want it to just disappear when you've spent, even 5 years, 20 years, somewhere in between building it?
Do you think that this is it big business, small business, is it industry? Is there anything or specific, or is this really for all players when it comes to succession planning? Julie?
Well, transition is going to happen regardless of the size of your business. However, I think that the smaller the business, and when I say small business, I'm talking about revenue somewhere between maybe $300,000 a year and a couple million a year. That's pretty small business, but the majority of the businesses out there are in that range. The resources tend to be pretty cost prohibitive if you start layering on the resources, okay? So I think that's why when I said earlier that it's important for them to start early so that they can bring advisors in one at a time and not necessarily have to build this big expensive team. But the team is still essential.
Yep.
As far as the category of business, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Barb, your thoughts on that?
It really is key who you have to work with. The resources from the chamber, from any trusted advisor that you do work with, can give you should be able to give you other resources to work with.
Right.
And it is overwhelming when you think about earlier. You mentioned you need the accountant, you need the financial planner involved, you need the attorney. Well, as a small business owner who's trying to figure out how to put my product out next week, that's overwhelming, and I will put it off. If you can start with someone, start with the chamber where you can come and get some general education and make some connections.
Yeah.
Start talking to someone else. It's retirement planning for entrepreneurs who don't ever think they're going to retire. That choice sometimes gets taken away from you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, whether you're 55, 75, or 35.
Good point.
Something happens where your business you have to be done there. How are you going to handle it?
You bet. Look, I know you're freaking. I know you are, because this has got you thinking now to maybe something that you hadn't been. And Julie and Barb, you've got an offer for those that if they'd like to learn more, you've got a special offer you'd like to put at them.
Yes, we do. Both Barb and I are offering a 1-hour complimentary session with us. And so I believe that our information will be up on the screen after the show is over with. And so you can contact either one or both of us, and we would be happy to sit down with you for an hour and just talk about your business, find out what it is that you've got going on and what you really want to accomplish.
And Barb, that hour could make a huge difference for the rest of that business's life.
Absolutely. Just to get some strategies in place of what are clarifying the questions is a big piece of it. What are the questions that I need to be asking and that I need to look for over the next, even few years that can help do that, as well as, the different education pieces that we've got coming up in the chamber. I know Julie is speaking to this same topic soon.
All right. I'll tell you what, we have just put the proverbial toe into the lake here on this. But I want your feedback because this is a pilot segment, a pilot effort for this show to find out and determine viewer interest on this topic and whether you'd like to see more of it and more of things that can help your business. So get a hold of me at the Chamber of Commerce, 763-421-7130. You can also get a hold of the crew at QCTV, but we need to hear if this is something that you deem important. Julie Keys, Keys Strategy, Barb Zuleger, Performance Partners, thank you so much for coming. It's a bowling ball. We can get it down to like a Super Bowl, and they can help you do that. Their information's there. I urge you to make that call. Take advantage of that hour that they're offering you. Learn more about business succession planning, because let me tell you something, it's coming sooner than you think. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We're back, and we're going to wrap up this edition of the Chamber Report right after this. Time to wrap up this edition of the Chamber Report. What a great show. Talking about business succession. I'll tell you what I deal with in talking to our members is they're just trying to make the business work. They're, oh man, that employee quit and I've got to fill and, I've got orders. You don't talk about or think about that long-range scenario. And I asked you earlier that if this is something with that last special segment that we did, if that's something you like, would you like more business topics like that? Because we can put them here, so let me know. And if enough of you do that, it just might happen. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up for the Chamber. I told you February is nuts. State of the City's luncheon, February 9th. Willie McCoy's 11 to 1. All the city reps will be talking about what has, is, and will be happening. You will see clips on the next Chamber show, and also, I'm sure, a full segment on QCTV. It is one of the best luncheons. It's the best luncheon we do. It just is. Well, we had Harmon Killebrew out, and that was, anyway, it is the best luncheon that we do a year because you really do get to find out everything that is happening in the region all in one shot. Of course, the biggie, the Chamber Gala Dinner is coming up on Friday, February 19th. We're rocking on it. We look forward to a great night. If you're watching this beforehand and want to donate or come, get a hold of us. Otherwise, as always, we are supposed to be a networking leader, and we will do that with our AM Connections Network event, first and third Wednesday of the month, 7:45, 9 o'clock at the Chamber office. No cost for Chamber members, no RSVP needed. Just bring a big old batch of cards and get ready to network to 25, 35 people at each of those segments. We have a member orientation. We always do it. Second Thursday of every month, 8 to 9 o'clock at the Chamber. I will go over all the benefits of membership in the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce, and you are invited to attend that. Just give us a call. Let us know you're coming. I'll have a packet of stuff ready for you. Coffee pot will be on. We'll be ready to go. 2016 is on, and we are ready to go. Feb is a rockin' month for us. Take a little break in March. Need it. So many things coming up this summer and throughout the rest of the year, and I am ready. The seatbelt is on. Let's get it going. Hey, if you have questions about anything you've seen today, numerous ways that you can get a hold of me. Shoot me an email, pete@anokaAreaChamber.com. You can call the Chamber office, 763-421-7130. Go to our website, www.AnokaAreaChamber.com. Talk about that in a second. Stop by the office. We're open from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, 12 Bridge Square. It's a half block off Main Street on 1st Avenue South, right downtown. We would love to see you, and so many of you do stop into the office, and we appreciate that. Go to that website. If you are looking for a service, if you are looking for a product, if you are looking for chocolates, if you are looking for flowers, if you are looking for something to give your significant other in this month of love, why wouldn't you use an Anoka Area Chamber of member first? You should. They're our backyard. They're our backbone. They are community. We talked about community being our major benefit. You should do business with Anoka Area Chamber members, and you can find out who they are right there on the Chamber website. And again, to all of you with the comments that you've given me about the show, we really appreciate it. Tell us how you want it improved. Some of you don't hesitate to say that, and most of you have been just great saying, hey, we love the show, love finding out about what's going on. That is going to do it for this edition of the Chamber Report. I'm Pete Turok. Thank you so much for watching.